Your $250 Amazon kit will kill you faster than zombies. Seriously, half the items in it are Chinese plastic in tactical packaging, and what actually saves your life in the first hours of the apocalypse isn't there at all. Right now, I'm going to assemble a kit of 10 items for $25 from an ordinary Walmart that will destroy any Amazon box on every parameter. And one item on this list costs less than $1. Not a single commercial kit contains it. I'll tell you about it at the end, and after that, you won't be able to look at your first aid kit the same way again. First, a question. Why don't expensive kits work? In survival schools, they hammer the rule of 3 into your head before they even put anything in your hands. 3 minutes without air. 3 hours without shelter in harsh conditions, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. Look at this list again. See what's missing? Weapons, freeze-dried food, tactical tomahawks for $80. The #1 killer in any documented disaster scenario is not hunger and not zombies. It's hypothermia. The body loses heat, the brain stops functioning, and that's it. Post-Katrina reports confirmed this. Reports after the Joplin tornado confirmed it. All field reports from conflict zones over the last 30 years say the same thing. Shelter first, water second, fire third. Everything else is just luxury. The $250 Amazon kit is built exactly the opposite way. Half the items solve problems that will kill you in 3 weeks, and what kills you in 3 hours is missing. You paid for a comforting illusion, packaged in black nylon with survival written in Gothic font. Now watch how it's done right.
Item 1. Orange Contractor Trash Bags, $3 to $4 per pack. The most underrated survival item on the planet. Most people walk past them in Walmart because they look like trash bags. Because they are trash bags. But orange is not black. Color is not aesthetics, it's function. Orange can be seen from a helicopter for kilometers. Black hides you. Orange saves you. Punch a hole in the bottom and 2 on the sides and you get an emergency poncho. Climb inside completely and you get a vapor barrier. In Army Manual FM 21-76, an entire chapter is devoted to this. The body radiates heat. The plastic barrier reflects it back onto the skin. Field tests showed an increase in internal temperature of 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit from this alone. This is literally the difference between a functional person and a corpse in the fetal position. Spread it on the ground and you block heat loss into the soil. And here's what few people know. Most insulate from above and are surprised to find themselves freezing from below, because the ground sucks out heat faster than air. Unfold it during rain and you have a water collection surface. 1 bag, 5 functions. Commercial equivalents of all this at an outdoor store would cost around $80. You pay $4. This is your first lesson about cost per function. The total is $4. Remember this number, because next we start breaking the sacred cows of the prepper industry.
Item 2. Bic lighters, $1 each. Take 2. Right now, someone in the comments is already typing an indignant comment about a ferrocerium rod. Don't. There's a reason every Army survival instructor carries a Bic, not a ferro rod. 3,000 lights per unit, one-handed operation, works when your fingers are shaking from cold, works when fine motor skills have already failed. The ferro rod that the industry shoves into every kit requires technique, requires practice, requires 2 hands and a controlled movement at the right angle. Now imagine yourself in the cold, wind, you're wet, adrenaline, your fingers don't obey, and you have to strike a spark at the right angle onto the first piece of dry tinder. The trained response to this problem is not train more with a ferro rod. The trained response is carry with you something that removes technique from the equation. The Bic is that thing. Most people spent $3 on a ferro rod, struck a spark with it a couple of times in the yard for Instagram, and sent it to the drawer. And then they try to use it when it's really needed, and can't get a spark for the life of them. Literally. You carry 2 for backup. If one fails, you have a spare. 6,000 lights, months of daily use. The ferro rod guys pay more for less. The total is $6. Good. You have shelter and fire. But a fire on a windy night won't cover all your heat loss, no matter how hard you try. There's another mechanism through which your body gives up heat, and neither a campfire nor a poncho closes it. And the solution is so thin and light that most people throw it away after one use.
Item 3. Mylar blankets. 2 pieces for $2 to $3. This is not comfort. This is an engineered reflector. Aluminized Mylar reflects up to 90% of your thermal radiation back. This is not marketing, it's physics. It looks like foil for fast food. It behaves like an engineered thermoregulation system. Wrap one around yourself inside a bag and you get two-layer protection. The bag blocks convection. The Mylar reflects radiation. Together, they close the two main mechanisms of heat loss. Put one under yourself on the ground and you add a radiation barrier from below and separate moisture from the body. Hang one behind a small fire and the fire warms you from two sides because the heat is reflected back. Use the reflective surface as a mirror on a sunny day and a helicopter will see the flash from kilometers away. 4 functions for $2. At an outdoor store, the same thing with a brand name costs $12. The same Mylar, the same physics, a different sticker. The total is $9. And now hold on to your chair, because the next item is the moment where half the viewers think I'm joking. Item 4. Non-lubricated condoms. $3 to $4 per pack. Yes, condoms. Before closing the video, open any military survival manual, including the same FM 2176. The condom is described as a field container for water. Yes, that's exactly how they wrote it in there. Somewhere sits a military engineer who is proud of that paragraph. A standard condom, placed inside a sock or bandana for support, holds about a liter of water. This is a foldable, packable, waterproof container that weighs 0 and takes no space. You carry a liter of water from the source to the shelter without any rigid container. Try that with a collapsible bottle from REI for $12 that still takes up space in your backpack. But carrying water is only one function. Stretch it over a bundle of dry tinder and you get a waterproof pouch. Matches, medicine, electronics. Elastic, durable, completely airtight after tying. Non-lubricated is critical. Lubricated ones contaminate water and make everything slippery. The reason this thing is in army manuals and almost no commercial kit is simple. It doesn't look tactical. It's not photogenic for an Amazon card. It doesn't fit the aesthetic of a bearded man in camo, but it works. The people who assembled commercial kits optimized for shelf appearance. The people who wrote FM 2176 optimized for those who need to not die. And yes, it will be awkward at the checkout. So what? The apocalypse will also be awkward. The total is $13. Now you have something to collect and carry water with. But you're not going to drink it straight from the stream, right? Because the invisible killer in any natural source will kill you faster than the dehydration you were trying to save yourself from. And the solution to this problem fits into a plastic pill case the size of a coin. Item 5. Water purification tablets, $4 to $5. Based on sodium dichloroisocyanurate. 1 tablet per liter. Drop it in, wait 30 minutes, drink. The chemistry kills bacteria, viruses, and most protozoan cysts. The same method used in military field water supply. No pump, no batteries, no moving parts, no skills. The commercial alternative is a $40 filter that will clog, crack, freeze, or break at the most inopportune moment. Filters require maintenance, back flushing, replacement cartridges. Life hint: none of the people with a $40 filter knows how to back flush it. Tablets require one action: just drop into water and wait. 1 pack lasts for dozens of liters. That's days of clean water. Now put together the chain. The contractor bag collects, the condom carries, the tablets purify. You have a complete water supply system for 3 items and less than $12. The commercial equivalent starts at $45. The total is $18. Stop for a second. $18. You already have shelter, thermoregulation, fire, water collection, water transport, water purification, and signaling covered. 5 out of 7 basic survival functions solved with 5 items. The $250 Amazon kit does the same thing with 30 items, half of which you never even took out of the bag. You're doing more with less. This is not a life hack. This is how trained people work. And we haven't even gotten to the main thing yet. Item 6. Mini sewing kit. $1 or $2 in the travel section. Don't skip it. The obvious function is repair. But here's what everyone misses. FM 21-76 describes a compass made from a magnetized needle. You rub the needle against silk or your own hair with repeated movements in one direction. This aligns the magnetic domains in the steel. Put it on a leaf in still water or hang it on a thread and it will point north. You have a backup compass without spending a single extra cent. Thick thread works as fishing line. A bent safety pin becomes a hook. The same thread works as a snare cord for small game, and as a binding for splints for fractures. Each function here is a secondary capability hidden in a $1 item that your mom puts in the suitcase before vacation. The total is $20. Of all the items in this video, the next one is the one you already believe in, because you fixed something with it, but you had no idea what you can do with it in the field. Most people know one function of it. Trained people know 8. Item 7. A roll of duct tape, $2 to $3. A whole industrial roll is not needed. Wind 30 turns around a pencil or around the lighter itself to save space. Duct tape is a field first aid kit, a structural repair kit, and improvised rope in one sticky package. Wound closure. A butterfly strap across a cut holds the edges together. It's not stitches, but in the field it's a working solution. Blister treatment. Covered the hot spot before a blister formed and you remained mobile. In the moment you can't walk, your situation degrades in hours. Splinting. Tape a stiff stick along a broken finger and you've immobilized the injury. Shelter repair. The bag tore in the wind, so you just taped it up. Cut into thin strips and you get cord for tying. The civilian approach is a $3 paracord bracelet with a claimed strength of 250 kilograms, which actually breaks at 36. Tactical bracelet sellers hate this simple trick. Duct tape and thick thread give real function instead of marketing fiction. The total is $22. And here it is, the very item I talked about at the beginning, the one that changes everything. Item 8. A sample tube of petroleum jelly, less than $1. The most multifunctional budget survival item, and almost no one carries it. Take a cotton ball, smear it with petroleum jelly, light it with a Bic. It burns for 3 to 4 minutes, not seconds, but minutes. A steady flame, hot enough to ignite wet tinder, damp shavings, and marginal fuel that would never catch from a bare spark. This is a fire starting technique taught in survival schools. Not a ferro rod, not $30 magnesium bars, a cotton ball with petroleum jelly and a lighter. In cold rain, in strong wind, when everything around is soaked, this combination gives you fire. And fire gives you everything else. Warmth, water purification by boiling, signal, morale. The psychological difference between having fire and not having it is documented and enormous. But this is only one function. Apply petroleum jelly to your feet before a long march, and you reduce friction, prevented blisters. Apply it to a wound as a moisture barrier. Use it on dry, cracked skin in the cold, and you prevent cracks that become an entry point for infection. Use it as a lubricant for any mechanical application. One item, 5 functions, less than $1. Name one product in any commercial kit that provides 5 functions for less than $1. You can't, because the industry doesn't optimize for function per dollar. It optimizes for shelf appeal. And a jar of petroleum jelly from the baby section will never make it onto the cover of a tactical gear catalog. The total is $23. You have fire. Now let's deal with the tool that in commercial kits is always represented by something heavy, dull, and expensive. But what you actually need is exactly the opposite. Something light, sharp, and for $2. Item 9. Disposable razor blades, $2 per pack. The blade gives surgical precision that no field knife will give. Processing tinder into fine shavings that instantly catch flame. Cutting a bandage exactly to size. Precise work with cords. Dressing small game. The commercial alternative is a $30 survival knife that weighs 340 grams and does rough work well and precise work poorly. You're not replacing the knife, you're adding a precise edge that weighs almost nothing. Wrap the back with duct tape and get a safe handle. A micro tool that fits in a wallet. Most commercial kits include a $40 multi-tool with a mediocre blade, pliers that you've used once, and a can opener for cans you don't have. A $2 pack of blades gives a better cutting edge for the tasks you'll actually perform. The total is $25. And the last item, I saved it for last, not by accident. Item 10. A cotton bandana, $1 or $2. The item with the highest number of functions in the entire kit. 7 documented uses from one piece of cotton. A pre-filter for water. Just fold it in several layers and pass the collected water through it before the tablets. It removes sediment and coarse debris. A pressure bandage. Just fold it thick, pressed, tied. You got a compression bandage. A dust mask. Fold it into a triangle, tied at the back of the head. Smoke from a fire. Cement dust after a building collapse. Sun protection. Just throw it over your neck, cover your head. Prevents sunburn, which worsens dehydration. Signal flag. Pot holder for hot stones by the fire. Carrier for small items. 7 functions for less than $2. Commercial equivalents of all these functions, purchased separately, would cost more than $30. The trauma bandage alone is $8. The final total is $25. 10 items. 1 trip to Walmart. The whole kit fits in your pocket, not in a backpack, but in your pants pocket. 60 items of the Amazon kit replaced with 10, each of which performs from 3 to 7 tasks. 100% of your kit is tested by you, because you assembled it yourself. In commercial kits, the functionality of untested items is around 50%. Simply put, half of what you paid $250 for will simply not work in a real situation. If this video saved you $200 and possibly your life, slam the like button. Write Walmart in the comments so I understand that you're assembling the right kit. Subscribe and turn on the bell. Stay alert. See you in the next video.